Welcome to QST, Quick, Smart and Targeted Learning with Hina. As per the new assessment structure and examination pattern of CBSE Class 10 Board, children, we are going to, in this video, focus on the pictures and images from Chapter 1, The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. And let us start with the picture. This is a print prepared by Frederic Sorio in 1848. Okay, the thing what we need to remember here is Frederic Sorio is a French artist. He prepared this print which he named The Dream of Worldwide Democratic and Social Republics, the pact between the nations. And children, one more important thing is about the Statue of Liberty, the significance of the Statue of Liberty, which is personified as women bearing the torch of enlightenment in one hand and the Charter of the Rights in the other. And then on the earth, foreground of the statue lie the shattered remains of the absolutist institutions. His utopian vision, where the people of the world are grouped as distinct nations, identified through the flags and national costumes. So, Frederic Sorio's painting. This image is the cover of a German almanac designed by the journalist Andreas Mann and in 1798. Children, in this image, it is about the French Bastille being stormed by the revolutionary crowd, which has been placed next to a similar fortress meant to represent the bastion of despotic rule in the German province of Kassel. And accompanying the illustration is a slogan: the people must seize their own freedom. The planting of Tree of Liberty in Zweibrücken by a German painter, children. It was a German painter Karl Caspar Fritz. This is during the occupation of the town of Zweibrücken by the French armies. These French soldiers, they can be recognized in the blue color uniforms, and they have been portrayed as oppressor as they seize the a peasant's cart and they harass a young woman, and also they force a peasant down to his knees. This is about when the European people they turn hostile towards the French armies. So in a sarcasm, even the flag being affixed to the Tree of Liberty carries a German inscription which in translation reads, "Take freedom and equality from us, the model of humanity." So this is a sarcastic reference to the claim of French as being the liberators who opposed monarchy in the territories they entered. So this planting of Tree of Liberty in Zweibrücken by Karl Caspar Fritz is actually a sarcasm against the French armies. This picture is about the courier of the Rhineland loses all that he has on his way home from Leipzig. Here is Napoleon, children. He is represented here as a postman on his way back to France after he lost the Battle of Leipzig in 1813. Each letter dropping out of his bag bears the name of the territories he lost. The Club of Thinkers, anonymous caricature dating to 1820. In this, the caricaturist is trying to depict the conservative regime and their autocratic attitude, children, in this caricature. To the left side, the plaque on the left side, it bears the inscription, "The most important question of today's meeting, how long will thinking be allowed to us?" And silence is the first commandment of the learned society. This has been put up onto the right side on the list of rules of the club. Okay, this is to avoid the eventuality whereby a member of this club may succumb to the temptation of speech. Muzzles were also distributed to the members upon entering. So mostly we can say that the caricaturist trying to depict the conservative attitude or the autocratic attitude of the conservative regime. In this picture, we can see the famous Italian revolutionary Giuseppe Mazzini, and all the other members who were like minded young men from Poland, France, Italy, and German state. This print is by Giacomo Mantegazza, and in this picture, it is about Giuseppe Mazzini and the founding of the Young Europe in Bern in 1833. The Hunger, Hardship, and Popular Revolt. This is about the famous peasants' uprising of 1848. Even we have seen in Silesia how the weavers led a revolt against the contractors. The massacre at CHIOS by Eugene Delacroix in 1824. The French painter Delacroix was one of the most important French Romantic painters. Children, this huge painting depicts an incident in which many Greeks were said to have been killed by the Turks on the islands of Chios. So, by dramatizing these incidents, focusing on the suffering of women and children, and using vivid colors, Delacroix sought to appeal to the emotions of the spectators and create sympathy for the Greeks. This is the Frankfurt Parliament in the Church of St. Paul. Here we can also see the painting of Germania, the allegory of German nation on a cotton banner, hang from the ceiling of the Church of the St. Paul, and also we can notice the woman in the upper left gallery. The caricature of Otto von Bismarck in the German Reichstag, that is the German parliament, the name of the German parliament, Reichstag. And here Bismarck is depicted as wielding a whip at the Reichstag children in 1870. Here the caricaturist trying to depict the conservative Prussian statesmen who dominated the German and the European affairs from 1860 to 1880. And as we know, Otto von Bismarck was also known as the chief architect in the unification of Germany, and his nickname was also the Iron Chancellor. He was the first chancellor of the German Empire between 1871 to 1890. The proclamation of the German Empire in the Hall of the Mirrors at Versailles. And in this picture, it is an assembly we can see comprising the princes of the German states, the representatives of the army, important Prussian ministers, including the chief minister Otto von Bismarck. They all gathered in this Hall of Mirrors in the Palace of Versailles to proclaim the new German Empire headed by Kaiser William I of Prussia. And they say this was a monumental work, children, and it was completed and presented by the artist to Otto von Bismarck on his 70th birthday in 1885. This is a famous English caricature of 1859 in which we see the most celebrated Italian freedom fighter, Giuseppe Garibaldi, helping King Victor Emmanuel II of Sardinia Piedmont to pull on the boat named Italy. And about Garibaldi, children, he joined the Young Italy movement and participated in a Republican uprising in Piedmont in 1834. And he is known, very famous to lead the famous expedition of the thousands to South Italy. They say later on many volunteers kept joining to the course and the campaign until the number grew to about 30,000 who were popularly known as the Red Shirts. This is the famous image of Germania, who became the allegory of the German nation. And in this representation, we can see Germania. She wears a crown of oak leaves, as the German oak stands for heroism and justice. And children, in this image also depicts that feature of Germania about heroism and justice, children. And this, the famous painter Philip Faith has painted this image of Germania, Philip Faith, in 1848. And the artist prepared this painting of Germania on a cotton banner, it seems. And as it was meant to hang from the ceiling of the Church of the St. Paul, where Frankfurt Parliament was convened in March 1848. The Fallen Germania by Urs Hubner in 1850. He has done this painting, children, and in this, the historical event that Hubner tried or is referred to in this allegorical vision of the nation is that he depicted Germany as a fallen woman with the crown and the standard thrown aside because the hope of German people to unite the German nation under one ruler was shattered when Wilhelm IV, the King of Prussia, rejected the offer of the crown by the Frankfurt Assembly. Rather, he joined the other monarchs to oppose the elected assembly and finally disbanded the assembly. So, The Fallen Germania by U.S. Hubner in 1850. This image is about Germania guarding the Rhine. In 1860, children, the artist Lawrence Clausen was commissioned to paint this image, and the inscription on Germania's sword reads, "The German sword protects the German Rhine." So, this is the significance, or what does the image depicts? It is about the German sword protecting the German Rhine. Allegories were also invented by the artist in the 19th century to represent the nation. In France, she was christened Marianne, a popular Christian name, which underlined the idea of a people's nation. And her characteristics were also drawn from those of liberty and the republic, the red cap, the tricolor, the cockade. And statues of Marianne were erected in the public squares to remind the public of the national symbol of unity and to persuade them to identify with it. And Marianne's images were marked on coins and stamps. So the allegory of France. And now, with the help of this image, let us identify the attributes of these symbols and interpret the symbolic meaning and significance of these images. So now, first, children, it is the broken chains. The significance is being free. The breast with the eagle, it symbolizes, it is also the symbol of the German Empire with strength. And the crown of oak leaves is heroism. The sword is the readiness to fight. The olive branch around the sword is willingness to make peace. And the black, red, and the gold tricolor, it is the flag of the liberal nationalist of 1848, which was banned by the dukes of the German states. And the rays of the rising sun means its significance is the beginning of new era. This is a map celebrating the British Empire. At the top, angels are shown carrying the banner of freedom, and in the foreground, Britannia, the symbol of the Britain nation, is triumphantly sitting over the globe. The colonies are represented through images of tigers, elephants, forests, and primitive people. So, the domination of the world is shown as the basis of the British national pride. I hope this video will boost your confidence and determination to achieve your best in the board examination, but make sure you cover up all the images. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that you can check my further videos. Thanks for watching.